Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining our session this evening. My name is Amir Woods, and I am the Student Success and Community Engagement Specialist for the College of Education. And our webinar today is for our graduate students who are in our master programs and also our combined master programs. We just want to make sure you guys are aware of a few housekeeping rules. This session will be recorded and uploaded on our YouTube channel. After we conclude the webinar, there will be time for questions with our financial aid team. Please save your questions until then. You will have the opportunity to type your question using the Q&A feature located in the bottom toolbar. And lastly, I will cover the College of Education scholarship application, which is available for the upcoming 2024-2025 academic year. I will share the link to apply, and we will also show you where you can find it as well. All right, wonderful. Today, I'm joined by my colleagues in the Office of Financial Aid. First, I would like to introduce Ashley Briggs, who is the Counselor and Special Programs Coordinator. And second, I would like to introduce Flora Gaspar, who is the Assistant Director of State and Special Programs. Thank you once again for joining, and I will hand it off to you, Ashley.
Awesome. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Here's a little overview of everything that I'll be going over. First, I'm going to discuss what exactly what financial aid does. Then I will go over about how to apply for financial aid. Then I will talk about what financial aid is available to the College of Education graduate students. There are a few special programs in the College of Education, so I'm going to discuss how those work with financial aid. And then I will cover the combined credential master's program and a few special grants that students in this program are eligible for or qualify for. And then I will provide some information about our office hours and contact information, as well as some important financial aid resources. Then we'll open it up for questions, and then we'll talk about the College of Education scholarship resources that Amir has. And so what does financial aid do? Financial aid essentially provides financial assistance to students of the university who meet certain eligibility requirements. And a variety of financial aid resources are available to help you pay for college. And the first step in receiving financial aid would be to apply for it. There's two different applications. There's the California Dream Act application, the CDA, and then also the free application for federal student aid, the FAFSA. And so if you live in California, meet the AB 540 eligibility requirements, or have a U visa or a TPS status, you would use this link, csac.dream.ca.gov, to apply for the California Dream Act application. If you are a U.S. citizen or an eligible non-citizen and have a valid social security number and a valid high school diploma or GED, you would apply for the FAFSA at studentaid.gov. And the school code, the federal school code for Cal State Fullerton, is also provided, 001137, just in case you need it. The application for 24-25 is open now. Generally, the priority deadline would be March 2nd, but there's been some changes to the FAFSA, and because of that, the application has been extended to April 2nd. So if you haven't completed it yet, now is the time to do it. The application for the current year, 23-24, is also still open. So if you still need to apply for spring aid or summer aid, you can still apply for that using the prior application, 23-24. And so there's different types of aid that the College of Education graduate students are eligible for. The first one would be the State University Grant, also eligible for unsubsidized federal loans. There's also private or alternative loans, which are educational loans from a banking institution of your choice, like a credit union, or if you have a preferred bank. And then there's also the Graduate Plus loan. So now I'm going to go a little bit more in detail of each of those types of aid. And so the State University Grant, we call it SUG. Eligibility is determined annually for this grant. and it's based on the student's SAI, which means Student Aid Index. This was formerly the EFC, Expected Family Contribution, but again, with the changes for the FAFSA, this is a major change that has happened. The second eligibility criteria would be the completion of the DREAM Act or the FAFSA application by April 2nd. Again, generally it's March 2nd, but it's been extended this year to April 2nd. So just keep, March 2nd in mind for the upcoming years in case it's not extended. Must be a California resident or AB 540 eligible as designated by admissions and records. Must also submit any requested verification documents by the due date established on the tasks list. This is generally around the end of April. You must also be meeting SAP, Satisfactory Academic Progress. To receive SUG, you have to be enrolled in a minimum of 6 units. And the amount of SUG that you receive is based on enrollment and tuition. So if you're attending part-time, your tuition cost is going to be $2,082. And so that's the amount that SUG would cover. And if you're attending full-time, it would be $3,588. And that's the amount that SUG would cover. Those numbers are for this current year. And so for 24-25, they will be increasing, I believe, with the tuition increases. So just keep that in mind. And the availability of funding is limited and not guaranteed from year to year. So if you receive it one year, it's not necessarily guaranteed that you're going to receive it the next year due to the funding. Next, we'll talk about federal direct unsubsidized loans. The current interest rate on this loan is 7.05%. There's a 6-month grace period after graduation or dropping below 6 units before your repayment period begins. However, interest does start accruing on it as soon as the first disbursement that you receive. And then with the private or alternative loan, this would be an educational loan from a banking institution of your choice. So if you have a preferred credit union or a preferred bank, you can go to them and ask them for an educational loan. And then we communicate through a third party who contacts us to let us know that you've applied for this loan. And then you would actually receive the money from Cal State Fullerton, though the terms of the loan would be through that banking institution that you chose. There is also the Graduate Plus loan. And for this loan, there are 2 applications you'd have to submit. One, I say paper application to Cal State Fullerton because once upon a time it was paper, but now it's electronic. But there is an application that you would send to our office, the Cal State Fullerton Office of Financial Aid, and then you would also apply online with the Department of Education. So there's 2 applications to submit. That's important to keep in mind because sometimes students miss one or the other. And now there's a few special programs in the College of Ed, and their financial aid is a little bit different than a traditional student. And so what do I mean by a special program? Essentially, a special program means that there's a mandatory summer in that program. These students aren't choosing to go summer. It's part of the criteria for their program. It's mandatory. So generally, graduate students are eligible for $20,500 annually in federal direct loans. So for special program students, because they're going to be here for summer, we take their aid-year loans and award them at 2/3, reserving 1/3 for summer versus 50-50 fall spring for a traditional student. So we can see here an example of a special program student and their unsubsidized loan for fall and spring. And we can see that the amount here is $6,834 and $6,833. They might vary by about $1, but that is 1/3 of $20,500, and the remaining 1/3 would be awarded for summer. And if it was a traditional student, we would see $10,250. awarded for these students, but they're special programs. So 1/3 for fall, 1/3 for spring, and 1/3 for summer. And then over here on the right, special programs we have from the College of Ed, whose aid might be a little bit different from that of a traditional student. Similarly, there is a combined master's and credential program in the College of Ed, and there's a couple grants that these students can qualify for, including the Golden State Teacher Grant. And this is a grant that awards up to $20,000 to students who are currently enrolled in a professional preparation program, which has been approved by the Commission on Teaching Credentialing and working towards earning their preliminary teaching credential. So in order to apply for this grant, you need to complete your program and obtain credential within 6 years from the date of your initial Golden State Teacher Grant payment. You must also commit to 4 years of service in California within 8 years after completing the credential program. You must complete service at a priority school. And what does priority school mean? It means that more than 55% of pupils who are classified as an English learner eligible for a free or reduced price meal or a current foster youth student. And if those criteria are not met and those terms and conditions from the service agreement are not complied with, then the Golden State Teacher Grant Award must be repaid in full. So those terms and conditions are really important to pay attention to ensure you don't have to pay that money back. The Teach Grant is similar, but this is a federal grant that provides up to $4,000 per year. And it's for students who are completing or plan to complete coursework needed to begin a career in teaching. And they must agree to teach full-time for 4 years in a high-need field for an educational service agency serving low-income students. Recipients must agree to teach for at least 4 years within 8 years of ceasing enrollment at the school where the grant was received. And similar to the Golden State Teacher Grant, failure to complete the Teach Grant eligible program or the agreed upon teaching service results in repaying the full amount of the grant funds received. And the Teach Grant is converted to a direct unsubsidized loan, and the interest is computed retroactively from the date of the first disbursement. So again, it's really important to pay attention to those terms and conditions and meet them. Otherwise, it gets converted into a unsubsidized loan with interest piled on from the first date of disbursement. So here are a few important resources for you. The Department of Education and FAFSA information is at www.studentaid.gov. This is also where you would find information for applying for the Graduate Plus loan. And then if you need to contact us, we have a ticketing system, which is the best way to get your questions answered. And this is how you would access that link. And then once you go to that link, this is what the page looks like. So you would ask financial aid online. You can message us electronically via our website. And so if you're a current student, you can log into the portal and ask your question that way. But there's also an option for future students or parents. If you're not currently a student, but you have a question about a program or anything, you can send it there, send your financial aid questions there. We have Zoom counseling available. You can meet with a financial aid counselor virtually based on your availability. I did see that there was a question about a change in income. So if you've had a change in income, you can contact us to meet with a counselor and we can look at that. Our office hours are Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And on Wednesdays, we open at 12:30 and we close at 5. And then our phone hours are similar, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday from 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. and on Wednesdays from 12:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. And our phone number is also provided here, 657-278-3125. And now we can open it up for questions. All right, so we have a question here, and it says, after applying for FAFSA for 24-25, how do I know if I successfully got FAFSA support for the combined program? Is SUG grant the same as FAFSA? So SUG is a grant that you can potentially receive after applying for FAFSA. FAFSA is the application that you would fill out to receive SUG, essentially. Um, and how would you know if you successfully got FAFSA support? After you fill out your FAFSA, we will start awarding students closer to June. And at that point, you would know the aid that or you should know the aid that you'd be eligible for in the program. Do we have any more questions? We have another question that came in. I already applied for FAFSA 24-25. When will I know how I qualify towards credential and master's? Again, closer to June, we will package students for the upcoming year. It could be closer to July as well. And then at that point, you would have a better idea of what you would qualify for your aid.
I want to add a little bit more on that. If you're a new student, I'm not sure if you're a new or a continuing. New students get packaged. You get notified of a financial aid offer a little bit earlier. So typically is April, but because of FAFSA simplification and the changes, it probably won't happen until closer to May. And then if you are a continuing student, it's typically in June, but it will probably happen in July or, later in July because of FAFSA simplification. And, the school's still getting ready for loading the new applications. As Ashley mentioned on the presentation, if you are enrolled in a combined credential program, in this case, we only have one. We have the combined credential program. That's a year-round program. This program, it's the first one, elementary curriculum instruction and credential. This program, when you file your application, you report that you are enrolled in a graduate program. So when you file your FAFSA, you are reporting that you are in a graduate professional because that's your first and foremost academic plan. So you will be awarded as a graduate student, which means that you get the 20,500. Okay, so you get the 20,500 annual loan split into the 2/3 for the year and then the 1/3 for the summer. So that's how you'll see an unsubsidized loan for the year. You might see the state university grant if you qualify for the state university grant. And if you are interested in the additional programs that Ashley mentioned, that she reviewed, which is the Golden State Teacher Grant and the Federal Teach Grant, those require additional applications. Okay, so they're not going to be awarded upfront. And the reason is because these programs come with conditions. It's not free money. They can be like loans, so you have to complete additional steps. So make sure that you visit our website or contact us if you want to know more details about the application. You can also, you'll be able to also view our presentation for the credential students, where we also provide information about these programs and the application process. But everything is on our website. You'll be required to complete the application with CSAC for Golden State because this is a state program. And then the Teach Grant, you would submit an application online on our website. This is a federal program. So the two applications are slightly different depending on your goal and depending on your goal of how your plan is, where you're going to be teaching. You may qualify for one or the other. Or both. It just depends on your goal because each program has a different slightly different requirements regarding what the conditions are and where you have to teach, priority school or the other one, which is, and both require that you do the service for 4 years, but they do have slightly different requirements. So I just wanted to give a little bit more details on that, since I see some students asking about the combined program.
So the best way to contact our office, I have the slide up here, is probably to ask a question or message us electronically. And we have people looking at those questions constantly, all the day.
Okay, so I'm going to answer. I'm going to put answering. Okay, so it says, so the Cal Grant application for credential would not qualify for the combined program. Correct. If you are enrolled in the master's, the combined master's credential program, you don't meet the qualifications for Cal Grant. It's only the students that are pursuing a teaching credential program only. So if you are only pursuing a teaching credential and you received a Cal Grant payment as an undergraduate student, then you could request an extension for 1 more year while you are completing your credential. But the master's combined program doesn't meet the qualifications for Cal Grant. And as I mentioned before, that's because that program, your academic plan, your primary academic plan is graduate professional. And as a graduate professional student, you can qualify for the state grant from institutional funding, which is a state university grant, and then you can get the higher loan amount. But yeah, unfortunately, the Cal Grant is not available for that program.
We have another question asking about how to establish AB 540 status, and this is done with the admissions office.
Yeah. So when you answer if let's say you believe you meet the requirements for AB 540, you can go to the DREAM Act application. So if you don't meet the qualifications for FAFSA and you want to see if you meet the qualifications for the DREAM Act application, you can start the application, and it's going to ask you a series of questions to determine and give you a preliminary determination if you're AB 540. So it will ask you a series of questions on there, and based on your responses, it will say, yes, looks like you meet the qualifications for AB 540, you can proceed with the application, or it would say, no, you don't meet the qualifications. And it's only it'll have the information for you to provide. You may still be required. I know that the process for AB 540 it did change with the 24-25 simplification, the FAFSA simplification changes. So I know that now in the application of the DREAM Act, they will ask you more questions to make that determination, but you will probably still be required to submit, or may be required to submit, additional documents with the Office of Admissions. And that's usually verifying that you are a California resident in terms of graduating from a California high school or have attended a California high school for a certain period of time, and graduate from a California high school or its equivalency. So there are some other alternatives like getting a GED or taking a test. So those are some expansions to the AB 540 that if you meet, then you can get that classification and apply for that and get state aid.
So far, that's all the questions. Did you all have any other questions? Okay, I think we're done with questions.
Alrighty. Well, thank you so much. Thank you, Ashley, and thank you for answering the questions that our attendees had. And thank you. We appreciate this. So now the moment you all have been waiting for, if you're looking for other options of funding, I do encourage you all to apply to our College of Education scholarships. The priority deadline to apply is April 1st, and the following award disbursements will be for the upcoming fall term, and decisions will be made via email by June of this year. So once again, these award disbursements will be for the 2020-24 fall term. Please note you are eligible to apply before an admissions decision is made for the program that you'll be applying to. and students who are recipients could be awarded up to $3,500 for the academic year, which means the funds will be dispersed for each semester or term. Only one application is needed for a decision to be made. And I did wanted to share just real quick where you can find this information for those who want to know for future reference. So if you go to the scholarship and financial aid webpage on the College of Education website, if you scroll down right to the second paragraph, you will see in that second sentence where you can go back to, yeah, so it will require you to log in with an email address. But if you do have any questions, please make sure that you contact me directly for any questions you may have regarding the scholarship application. If you do not have any questions for in regard to today's session, you can always contact me directly. You can reach me at aawoods@fullerton.edu, which you see here, or you can contact me directly at 657-278-4871. And I am located in College Park on the fifth floor. And if you would like to scan the QR code, it would also take you to the scholarship application as well. So once again, if there isn't any questions, I just want to give a huge shout out once again to our financial aid experts. I like to call them experts, Ashley Briggs and Flora Gaspar, for answering the questions that our students had today and our future students and our current students had today. And once again, this webinar will be available in a few weeks. I know there were questions about that, and it will be on our YouTube channel, which you can find at the bottom of our College of Education homepage at ed.fullerton.edu. And once again, if you need further assistance or have any questions, once again, my name is Amir Woods, and I'm the Student Success and Community Engagement Specialist for the College of Education. And we are here. The financial aid team is here, and I am here. We are all here to help you on your education journey. And we look forward to supporting you and assisting you as you move forward. Thank you once again for joining this evening for this webinar, and go Titans. Take care. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.